back in my home diocese, my last assignment happened to be on a city, on a beautiful lake. And I remember, one finance council meeting, I decided to read this gospel to the people at the finance council. And I read the gospel and I told them that for this reason, the parish needs to buy me a boat, so that I could minister to the people along the lakeside. They didn't buy it. As we listen to this gospel, you can almost see the frustration of the fishermen. They spent a whole night fishing and caught nothing. And this was their livelihood. And, here they are cleaning up for the day and hoping for a better day tomorrow. And I think sometimes in our lives, we get to that point. It wasn't a good day, and we hope for a better day tomorrow for one reason or another. And then Jesus comes along and gets in the boat and says, hey, take me out a little bit. Let's go for a boat ride. It's like no idea of what these guys are going through. And of course, they do it. And so, Jesus preaches to the people along the side of the lake. And then eventually he says to them, okay, let's go out into deep water. Let's take this out. And they're like, really? We're tired. But they do it. And then Jesus says to them, now throw those nets over. I can just imagine what was going through their heads. They were probably saying to themselves, you might have some carpentry skills, but you know nothing about fishing. And of course, they explained to them, says, we didn't have a good day. We're not going to get anything. We got to wait till tomorrow. But if you say so, we'll do it. And then what happens? There's an abundance. So much so that they need help. So much so that the boat is in threat of sinking. But it doesn't sink, because Jesus is with them. And I think sometimes in our lives, we forget that he's walking with us on the journey. The line that gets me is the very last line of the gospel. They left everything and followed him. Left everything and followed him. And and we probably said, well, they were the apostles. These are the ones that Jesus, handpicked. But we've been handpicked. And we've been asked to trust in God. And we've been asked to follow him. But are we willing to leave everything to follow him? I don't think so. We'd like to think we are. But we'd like to hold on to some things. We're kind of caught and stuck in this world. We might have one foot in the direction of Jesus, but we've got one foot grounded here in this world. Leave everything. No, that just seems almost impossible for us. We got to make sure that, we're taken care of. I know for me as a priest for over 30 years, there's some things that I just can't leave behind, that I bring with me wherever I go. Now granted, when I moved here to Florida, I downsized a lot. And I let go of a lot. But there were some things, I kept. And, sometimes it's a process. I used to have my brother's hockey jersey. And I used to have my brother's construction boots. And when he passed away, I, carried them in every assignment that I went to. The jersey didn't fit me because he was a lot thinner than me. And the construction boots didn't fit me. I couldn't wear them, but I kept them in the cedar chest because they were his. Keeping them wouldn't bring him back, but I just needed to do that. And eventually, maybe after 25 years of his passing, I finally let them go. But I still have things that I hold on to. I guess I'm a sentimental old fool. And part of me wants to pass them on, but I don't know who I'm going to pass them on to. I've got 2 nieces and a nephew that don't care about that kind of stuff. I've got one niece that said to my sister, "I don't want anything from any dead person." My sister looked at her and said, "What?" And she says, "Look around this house. That table over there belonged to Aunt Margaret. The china over there was Grandma's, and they're all dead. I don't want anything from a dead person." And I'm like, well, what am I going to do with the stuff I wanted her to have that were from dead people? We hold on to those things. Why? I think it's okay as long as we don't let them control us. As long as they don't possess us. But can we leave everything behind to follow the Lord? It's a pretty tall order. But guess what happens if we do? We're going to have a great life. We're going to be blessed abundantly. That's what that whole symbolism is of going out into the deep. Out into the deep where, you're not going to be able to touch bottom. That you're going to have to trust a little more. And of course, the blessing of all those fish, everything will be okay. Doesn't mean you might not have some challenges. Somewhere along the line, you might think the boat is sinking. But it didn't. And it won't. Because you're walking with the Lord. As we start to get older, We need to trust in him more. And we need to let go more of this world. You know, there's that saying there, he must increase and I must decrease. And I think that's what this gospel is telling us today. So as we come to the table of the Lord today, let us ask God for that grace. That grace to say, here I am, Lord. I surrender everything. I'm yours. Let's go. God bless you.